Hey everyone, welcome back. I'm doing this, I'm recording this video after I got done making every part of this video right here. This one basically it caused some real damage. Nothing to me, nothing to the property, but basically one of my straps, you'll see it broke. Now I'm going to include everything in the video, right? All the pulls, because it was like the third or fourth attempt over the course of a couple of months. You guys wondering where I've been at? I've been trying to get this stupid thing, and then, you know, with two little girls running around here, because I have a 2-year-old and a 5-month-old, and trying to trying to wrangle all that is a little bit of a challenge. And so I got out, I took a week off this week, and I got everything set up to the same one that I've been pulling. I tried it again. This one is a complete fail. I'm not trying it anymore. And now I'm down for broken equipment. You guys will see that in the video here. But as always, if you're going to do this, be really careful, because if somebody would have been around, if your dog or cat would have been around, it probably would have killed somebody, at least broken bones, because it launched, 20 pounds, 30 pounds worth of equipment just as hard as it could after it broke. So you guys are going to see that towards the end of the video. Enjoy seeing all my different fails going on here, so maybe you guys can see what to do and what not to do in the future. All right, enjoy. Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to the Brain Homestead channel. Anybody that's been following my stump removal over the last year and a half or so, I haven't, the last one you saw was when I actually was trying to pull a whole tree down. The problem that happened though was it bent over. So instead of pulling the whole thing, roots and all, which is what it was supposed to do, it bent over about 3 feet up or 4 feet up, and I figured out why. The reason why that it did that was because it was an old stump. It was like an 80-foot tall tree before. Somebody cut it down, and then a sapling came out from one of the sides of it, and then that grew into this tree that was only 40 foot tall. So you have a 40-foot softwood tree that was being held up by roots from an 80-foot tall tree, and so it was anchored really well. It's still there. Now let me show you what I did to help with the situation. All right, now we have everything. Let's go around this way. Everything's set up, ready to go. I turn the tractor back off because it's always loud in the background. You can see I got these full of water. I'm letting them soak for a little while, just to help a little bit, because like I said, usually I like putting these all the way up here, but this one, there's a weak spot right there. And with that weak spot being there, I'm afraid, so this whole thing, oh, you can also see the stump actually starts there and goes all the way over here, even though the tree itself I was pulling is only this way. And then there's a secondary tree growing out of the same stump that used to be a tree years ago. So this stump is huge. I'm not entirely sure this is gonna work. I did as much as I could. I soaked the ground and cut holes in it. Barring anything from breaking, hopefully it comes out. If it doesn't, I'm gonna have to rent a backhoe or grind it off or something, but hopefully that's not the case. So anybody that's new to the channel, if you are curious about the mechanical advantage, I'm gonna go through it here real quick. But right here, what I do is I use a tree saver. First of all, I cut a notch. You can't really see it. Yeah, I cut a notch right back in there. Moth. Right back in there. And I have the strap kind of stuck in there. And then I have this, so it chokes it. It slips and chokes it as it tightens. And I have a really long one, several long straps. And the reason why is because when this is a full tree, I want to have enough straps so that way I can have the tractor way away, so when it falls, I'm nowhere near it. So right there, that's a 30-footer and a 30-footer. So that's 60 feet, and that was only a 40-foot tall tree, so it landed like right up there. And then from my pulling distance, I'm all the way out here, which is well over 100 feet. And the biggest tree I have there is about 80 feet. So I should be good for all the others. And like I said, this big one right there, that one's the next one. Okay, so what I have here, and this is a little bit more complicated, but we're gonna go through it here. Anchor tree, anchor tree. Now the reason why I'm using two is because both of these are quite a bit smaller than that stump. And when I was pulling the tree over, I was using just this one, and the problem is it started leaning over. I'm like, ooh. So what I'm doing is this, so I have two steps of, this is a compound system, and I have two different steps, two different ropes and everything else. So the first one is the bottom anchored there, that's one pulley, and the bottom anchored here, that's actually anchored around there. So this pulley and this pulley right there are actually the first compound system. They just have different anchor points because those trees aren't very big. So anchor point 1 and 2, but these are the same simple system. And then you can follow both lines here up, and they're being pulled from that guy right there. So since all 4 of these lines, 1, 2, so 1, 2, 3, 4, all 4 of those lines are being pulled from the same point, that makes it a 4-to-1. But not really, because this one right here is also anchored there, so that's a 5-to-1. Okay, so with that being a 5-to-1, if it was just a simple system, it would be a 5-to-1. However, you notice I'm on another system. This is new. This is a new line. It's separate from the first one there. And right here, you have 1, 2, 3. It goes down around the pulley there, and then back, and then tied to the tractor. So 1, 2, 3. So you have a 3-to-1 into 2. There's 2 here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 3-to-1 into a 5-to-1. Those are actually, since it's a compound system, it's multiplicative, which means that it's actually a 3-to-1 times a 5-to-1, which is a 15-to-1. So before, with a 5-to-1 that I was using to pull the tree over, I tried pulling the stump, and it actually spun all 4 tires on the tractor. Now, that's a 6,000 pounds. It's a Farmall 70A. It's a 6,000 pound tractor, and it spun all 4 tires. So I don't have enough pulling power and get a heavier tractor, which is expensive, or I could just make it into a compound system, make it a 15-to-1, which is what I did, obviously. I already had the equipment. So this is the setup right there. We have 2 different points. Now, I only have about another 60 feet that I can pull forward, and since it's a 15-to-1, if I pull 60 feet right here, that means that this guy right here is only going to pull, since it's a 15-to-1, every 60 feet that I move here, divided by 15, so it'd be 4. So this is actually only going to move 4 feet, but that should be enough to break that stump loose, and then I'll be out of room. Now, you say, well, what do you do when you're out of room? What I would do is put another pulley right here as a redirect only. So this cable run around another pulley, and then I would pull it this way with the tractor, because I have tons of room all the way out through there. So if I have to do it in 2 spots, I might have to add another pulley as a redirect. And you can keep adding redirect pulleys back and forth. Like if you have kind of a tight area and you have to, you have only limited space, you could actually, even if it's a zigzag pattern, like, oh, I have a tree here, so pull this way, and then you can use something here and then pull that way, and another tree here and then pull that way. You could keep doing that. It'd be a pain in the butt pretty quick though. So anyway, got everything set up, and get the camera set up here, the GoPros, and we're gonna get to it and see if I can do any damage. All right, there we are. We are rolling forward a little bit. I can't hardly see anything. I apologize for that. But I got 1 GoPro set up there, 1 set up there looking at the stump. So I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna try to hold on to this if I can. While I'm pulling, I'm gonna be pulling very slowly. So here we go. So far, no problem. I can't see what's going on down there, but hopefully the other GoPros get it. Now make sure not to rub the tree here. And I'm touching the tree. What we're going to do is I'm going to back up here just a little bit, get some tension off it, see what happens. Oh, not your GoPro. Let's see if anything. Nothing broke anyway. That's always a plus. I know that's pretty low expectations. Like, oh, hey, I didn't destroy anything. That's a win. Let's see if we can see the green, if the ground is heaved or anything like that. I mean, it's in that really well. I don't know. I don't see where the ground heaved at all. So, all right. Well, so what we're gonna have to do, we're gonna come back down here. What we're gonna have to do is take this last cable off, and this will be pretty easy. I mean, we're right by it. Basically, I'll put another pulley right here, this right here, and then just face it going that way, and then I'll just pull straight down through there. That gives me, I have to be careful. Actually, I have a whole bunch of travel distance left, so I'm gonna get that reset up here real quick. I'll be right back. All right, we are back. It only actually took about 3 minutes, so I stood the GoPro back up. So this was the one that I was pulling with. It's still the one I'm pulling with, but as you notice right here, come down here, and it's going around. Hang on. Sorry, this is from a chicken coop that I was building. I have yet to pick up. So it's going around that as a redirect, so I can pull this way, and I'm gonna pull right out there. So I'm gonna go ahead and do it. I'm going to pull at an angle. I don't want to pull right next to it, like right through there. I don't want to do that, because if I do that and something breaks, I'm gonna be in trouble. So I'm gonna do over here to prevent any type of damage. All right. Just in case something breaks. Oh, I hear something. It doesn't look like it even moved. There's still water sitting there. The ground has not heaved. I think what I'm gonna have to do, I think I'm gonna have to just start drilling holes. I was just trying to do the backside. I'm gonna start drilling holes, and then I guess tonight I'm gonna have to admit defeat. This is the second time in a row I've had to admit defeat. And I think tonight, I'm gonna, after I get done putting all these holes around it, I'm gonna have to just keep the thing flowing with water and then try it again tomorrow. Leave everything hooked up, yeah, and try tomorrow. I think that's what we're gonna have to do. So I'm gonna drill some more holes all the way around it, and then after that, we'll hit it back again tomorrow. All right, so we got some more holes drilled all the way around here. There's a huge whatever running right down through here. I got most of it out, big chunks of it right there, a whole bunch of stuff. And now I'm gonna fill all these holes full of water. And after I get done filling all these holes full of water, I'm gonna keep filling them full of water. And then overnight, I'm gonna just put the hose up in here somewhere right at the base and just let it go. And hopefully that'll loosen it up enough where I can actually do it tomorrow. Get it out of here. This is already taken way more, but you can see right here, like, okay, so the base is right here, like, yeah, it keeps coming out here. So this used to be an old stump that was cut out basically ground level, and it started bringing stuff out of here. And yeah, not working too well. Anyway, I'm gonna come back out tomorrow. I'm gonna reset the system, and then I'll continue on here right after this stream. All right, boys and girls, we're back now. Where we left off here, the previous scene, which is going to be cut right before this, was about a month and a half ago. As you can see, a lot of the stuff that I cut out, there's everything that I cut out that was around it. It's all dried and dead now. So yeah, this is what it looks like now. It's regrown. I still have everything stretched out here. And the reason why is because the last time I took a week off, and I was just getting started on it, and then my newborn daughter ended up getting sick, and I had to take care of her all week, so I wasn't able to get any more done. I took another week off because why not? And so here's where we're at. I filled all the holes full of water. I soaked the base. It drilled all the holes out. This is the last time. I'm only going to set up one camera. I'm going to pull, and if it doesn't work, then I'm going to cut it off. So this whole area right here, all these trees right here, this is going to be where my shop stands. All right. And I was wanting to dig it all out of there, but if not, it's not like I'm going to grow anything here. There's going to be dirt brought in here to get up because there's a downhill slope there. So I'm going to bring dirt in here. It's going to get leveled, all that. So if I have to just cut off the stump low to the ground and grind it off, then, you know, that's what it is. I'd like to get them all out of there, but I don't know. This one, like I said, the base, the stump itself, I don't know if you can tell or not. No, you can't really tell. It was from an old tree, and then they didn't kill it all the way, whenever it fell down or cut it down, and then this regrew. So this tree, this tree that's coming out of it probably is about 12-inch wide, but the stump is like an 18-inch wide. So the stump is way bigger than the tree should actually be. And looking at all the rest of these, I don't think that'll be a problem. This is going to be the biggest one right there. And then the rest of these, though, should have normal size stumps. They're all softwoods with the exception of that one right there. That's a hardwood. That one should come down. Actually, hardwoods are a lot harder to get rid of after the fact, but way easier to come out of the ground beforehand. So I'm going to work on getting at least a few of these down this week, hopefully. And I hope I don't run into any more. If it gets to the point, though, like if I tried this one right here, it's another softwood, and it does the same exact thing, where it just wants to bend over because it's rooted so heavy, then I'm going to have to recalibrate how I'm doing all the pines, all of the softwood, and it's mostly pines here. I have some hardwoods to drop, so I'll still do videos of that, but yeah, if it just doesn't work for the softwoods, then it doesn't work for the softwoods. Well, anyway, I'm just going to set up one camera while I'm doing this pull, and if it doesn't work, then yeah, then I'm just going to cut it off as close to the ground as I can, throw some Tordon on it, Tordon, that kills the stump, and then just grind it off, I guess. right, so I'm gonna go ahead and throw that into the video as well in case anybody didn't see that. Did this start coming out at all? It doesn't even look like it started coming out at all. So it looks like what happened was, I don't know if it was because my straps are starting to rot or what the deal is, but it completely knows, where's the straps? It left very quickly. And this is a good lesson. Oh, there's a little chunk of it there. It's all frayed. There's a chunk of it. There's a chunk of it. Let's see. Strap's all gone. That one was not part of it. So let's just go back here. Notice the straps are all gone. The straps are all gone. And this is exactly why. There's some straps. And this is exactly why nobody stands behind it. We were pulling that way. And I had it on this tree and this tree. And it was tied right, stop focusing on my finger, right, that guy right there. And it came like a slingshot. Yeah, see? Tree there, like a slingshot, and launched it right through there. Now I heard it snapping and popping. I thought it would maybe hold, but it didn't. Here, yeah, that's exactly what happened. Well, hopefully I didn't screw anything else up. I don't think so. That one strap is worn a little bit too much, and I heard it popping and cracking. So if you ever hear your straps popping and cracking, maybe stop. Yeah, so that that's it for now. That's gonna do it for me for the day. I need to get some more of those straps. Quite a few of those straps. Looks like everything else is basically okay. I don't see anything else that's really, I don't see any problems with the hoses or anything. But yeah, it's a good thing nobody's standing back here, because that was a lot of mass from all of the pulleys and the shackles and everything. It's a whole lot that got launched that way. So in case you've never seen it happen in real time, there you go. And because I'm an absolute and utter masochist, I may try this again, because that one, it was not that the stump was in there too hard, everything was holding, it was the strap that was the problem here. I don't know, it didn't even start giving though, did it? Like, I don't see where the ground, because usually you can start seeing where the ground gets heaved a little bit. And I guess there are some cracks there, like right there where it started coming. I don't know. I don't know. I don't. This thing is being such a pain, I'm not entirely sure I'm going to do it again. You know what? I think I'm just going to cut it off. I'm just going to cut it off and grind it. We'll move on to another ones after I get another strap. All right, well, there we go. It did not end the way I wanted it to end, but not a whole lot that can be done. By the way, I don't know if you could see in the camera before this. I'm not sure if I'm in range of the GoPro from right here, but I was like, because there's a wall of trees and my bucket and everything else. When I heard it crack, and I'm like, okay, I'm looking around, I'm like, okay, nothing can get me. If something breaks, nothing can get me. And you know, I hear a lot of people like, oh, you know, weighted blankets. That's true. However, I'm pretty sure the weighted blankets wouldn't have done anything with that, because a weighted blanket, even if it's, you know, 50 pounds, it launched everything. So yeah, so just be very careful. Make sure nobody's on the backside or in line anyway. And I was not in line of it. I was off to the side, and I had trees, and I had the post hole digger behind me, and I had the bucket raised all the way up in the front. That's why I wasn't doing it, recording with my camera on my phone, is because I had the bucket all the way up blocking it. So that way, if something were to happen, it would hit the bucket of the tractor. So we're going to leave it right there. This is an absolute fail. This is like the 4th time failing. I've had enough of it. I call uncle. So if you run across a softwood, in particular, a softwood that came out from another tree stump, maybe just cut it off and grind it off. And I won't know about the other softwoods, because all the rest of these here, you know, behind me that are softwoods, these are, you know, their trunks are kind of normal size. Like, it's the size they should be for that for the tree. And since they have that, then probably it'll be okay. But I'm going to try one first. What I'm probably going to do is I'm probably going to try this smaller one right here. I'm probably going to try him next to see if he bends over. And if he just bends over, then I'll know for this one before I do that one. Then I'll just I'll put drills around, then I'll drill holes in the ground there, and then I'll try to water it overnight and see if I can't get it to work that way. But this is it. Hope you enjoyed the failing. Probably not, but if you guys are getting ready to do this in the future, maybe listen for all the snapping and cracking, because that means something's about to go down. So hope everybody's having a good, it's August. Hope everybody's having a good week, and we'll see you next time, hopefully in another couple weeks.